Hello, everyone. Welcome to the newest episode of the ManageEngine Insights Podcast. Today, we are going to discuss the role of AI and ML in the BFSI and FinTech industry. The BFSI sector has undergone a massive digital transformation in the past decade and a half. Cloud computing, digital services are the norm of the day. The next evolutionary step in this digital journey has been the incorporation of AI and ML technologies in the sector. From credit scoring and risk management to customer relationship management, AI finds applications in numerous domains of the banking sector. However, apart from the expected use cases, AI is also helping lead the way for many novel projects in the BFSI sector, such as green finance and quantum computing applications. To shed light on these interesting implementations and discuss the many ways in which the BFSI industry can benefit from AI, I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Utpal Chakraborty, Chief Digital Officer at Allied Digital Services Limited. Utpal is an eminent data scientist, quantum scientist, AI researcher, strategist, and a thought leader with more than 2 decades of industry experience. He's a well-known speaker and author on artificial intelligence, quantum computing, blockchain, Web 3.0, metaverse, and IoT, and has also spoken at conferences around the world. Utpal has also been recognized as one among top global AI influencers and thought leaders since 2018 by many reputed forums and has been recognized as Global AI Ambassador 2022. Hello, Utpal. It's wonderful to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Priyanka, and really excited to have this conversation with you.
So are we. All right. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the questions. The first question that we have for you today is, what would you say are the biggest ways in which AI ML can contribute to the BFSI sector? And can you talk about some of the best use cases that BFSI organizations should keep in mind?
Yes, absolutely. So I think BFSI is one of those sectors who have adopted artificial intelligence in a very big way. I think since 2010, 2012, and in India also, in the entire banking and finance sector, there has been a lot of implementation of different AI and machine learning applications, okay, across these sectors. So now coming to some of the very popular use cases are like credit risk assessment, okay, which is basically before giving any kind of credit to an individual or to an organization, how actually you do the risk assessment, and for that probably what we are doing is we are taking into consideration a lot of parameters of an individual or an entity. Okay, and it could be demographic parameters, it could be parameters which are like transactional parameters of the individual, or some of the parameters, probably the financial parameters. Now, taking into consideration all the parameters, we run machine learning models on top of that. And then we get some kind of a assessment in terms of the risks involved, right? And how to actually mitigate those risks. And whether a particular individual is likely to repay his loan or not. Okay, so that indication also you can get from there. So this is a use case. I think it has been implemented everywhere. Okay, almost all the leading banks in India and across the globe. Another very popular use case is your fraud detection or detecting any kind of fraudulent activities. Right. So for this, again, so there are various types of frauds. There could be credit card frauds, insurance frauds, debit card fraud, normal transaction frauds, and every day this fraudulent activities are getting newer and newer, right? Because these fraudsters are also evolving. And they are also coming up with newer and newer techniques to do different kind of fraudulent activities. So now to deal with this kind of a scenario, a adaptive model is very, very important. And machine learning is an adaptive model because it can learn from the previous data or the previous evidences. Okay, and it can learn the pattern. And if something is not falling within the purview of that particular pattern or template, then it highlights. So this is also a very popular use case, okay, and very, very important. So probably today, I mean, most of the fraud detection systems are powered by ML. Okay, right. So it cannot be rule-based now. So historically, we used to have the rule-based kind of approach. Right. Then other area is basically cyber security. So this is a very big area, right? So although cyber security is involved not only in the banking and finance, but also in all other domains, but banking and finance being very, very critical in terms of securing your money and your assets. So that's why cyber security is very, very important. And now it is kind of a cognitive cyber security. So when we talk about cognitive cyber security, it is essentially again powered by machine learning and mathematical models. So here also we do the same thing. If there is any kind of abnormal behavior in your network, in your servers, or whatever connections that are coming into the servers and all other things, at that point of time only, it can easily detect those kind of abnormalities, okay, or abnormal behaviors, and it can automatically take some action or highlight those to the admins. So this is this type of cognitive cybersecurity, which nowadays called what do you call enterprise immune system. So it is like a human system, like human immune system. It is for the enterprise immune system. It can automatically understand what is likely to go wrong. Okay? Right. So this is another area. Then the areas like robo-advisors. Okay, so now for your portfolio management, you have got very sophisticated advisors powered with ML, and these advisors can actually look into different sources, multiple sources of data. Probably to look into market data, it will look into some of the news items, it will look into what do you call the past trend of how the stocks are performing, right. And considering all the factors, even the political scenarios and all other things. Okay, so it could be 1,000 parameters. Right. And after considering all those things, what it does is basically it recommends the right kind of what do you call portfolio, that this is the right thing that you should pick up and you should invest into. So this robo advisors are now replacing the human advisors. So that is one. Right. Now there are many, many backend applications which are also getting developed with AI and ML. Some of those are developed with like RPA kind of a tool, robotic process automation. But many others are also being developed with artificial intelligence. Wherever you require kind of a some kind of intelligence, because RPA is traditionally RPA is not that intelligent, right? Because it is kind of a script. Yeah. So but if you want to bring some intelligence into RPA, in that case you require some machine learning model. So that's why many of the RPA tools today are also implementing machine learning slowly and gradually, right? So so for backend there are many for example, document processing, okay, in a insurance claim processing kind of a scenario, wherein like there is a huge team which does all eyeballing of the insurance claim documents, and then only they approve those kind of documents, right? And it takes a huge amount of time, and also there are various types of human errors that happens in most of these cases. And again, there are a lot of what do you call other things happens in the entire system. So now if machine does that, it takes all the documents into consideration, and then it picks up the right elements from the document, okay, and put it in a dashboard nicely, and it can identify, okay, these are the parameters, these parameters are okay, okay, in this particular claim. And these are some parameters which are probably some human need to verify. Okay, so it will highlight that also.
Right.
So this backend processes are also getting automated with intelligent automation. Now, most of the cases you will see AI is invisible, right? So you cannot see AI, although you have been hearing AI everywhere. But one, you can say, ambassador of AI, okay, wherein you can see, you can talk to it, is basically either a chatbot or a virtual assistant, okay, wherein actually you can see the front face of AI, right? So now these are also getting very, very popular in all the sectors, in customer care or in any enterprises, like in banking and finance. So they want to render all their products and services in a digital manner to their customers through these digital channels. Okay, and these digital channels could be your Facebook Messenger, it could be a chatbot, it could be in WhatsApp. Okay, so they can render it in any channel and any messaging channel, right? So that is the beauty of that. So these are some of the solutions, or you can say applications that has already been developed. It has already been popular in the banks, but apart from that, there are also solutions coming up and already started coming is on the RegTech, okay, on the regulatory side, InsurTech, where they are on the insurance side. So those applications are also coming up. So now cognitive claim kind of a thing, like if somebody, so these applications are already available. Like, I mean, in case of a car accident, okay, they can just take the photographs of the car, right, the damaged car, okay, and automatically it will do the processing with computer vision, and it can tell how much damage has happened to the car, okay, and to what extent, and accordingly it can suggest that the claim amount could be this much, okay? And if it is within a particular threshold limit, okay, as per the guideline of that insurance company, you get the insurance amount then and there in 2 minutes. Right. So that is the kind of automation that are already happening there. And on the other side, I would like to touch upon that, because that is also very important. It is the analytics part. Because most of the banks traditionally they run a lot of analytics, right? So they already have a data warehouse kind of a setup wherein they pump in all their data from all the sources, and then they run analytics on top of that, right? But those analytics are mostly kind of diagnostic and descriptive kind of analytics, which is the very vanilla form of analytics, you can say. Okay, as is what is there. But going one step ahead, now with the power of machine learning, okay, with the power of predictive models, they are also doing predictive modeling. Okay, so wherein what they do is basically do the prediction, see the trend analysis, how the trend will be, then futuristically how it will look like. Okay. Also, they can do prescriptive analytics on top of that. Okay. So those things are also happening in my the bank where I was working previously prior to this assignment. There we have been doing the same thing. So we created a customer 360-degree data lake, and on top of that data lake, we have been running some analytics, of course, starting with the descriptive and diagnostic and descriptive type of analytics. But then slowly and gradually, we started implementing some R models, because R is very good at building the statistical models, right? So it is mostly dealing with mathematics, not much into the higher variant of machine learning. And with that, we have been doing a lot of predictive analytics. Okay. So this is also an area which is very, very important for banks. So almost from the analytics team, every department of the bank, they used to get some reports, right? And these reports are very, very important for them, like how, what segment of the customer they want to target, okay, what kind of what is the kind of sales that is happening in different area, and where there is a possibility that they can do a good sales, okay, or customer acquisition, or customer retention, churn. There are a lot of things, even risk analytics. So this is also one of the examples of risk analytics which I talked about. That credit risk is one area. So these are some of the areas where the BFSI banking and finance sectors, they are working a lot. And now also now QML coming into picture, quantum machine learning coming into picture. Now BFSI sector, banking and finance sector, is also looking at the possibilities of implementing a quantum machine learning kind of a technique into optimization. Okay, because there are a lot of areas in banking that can be optimized. Okay, because ultimately we'll see, I mean, banking is a mathematical field. There are a lot of mathematical problems there, right? And there are a lot of opportunities for optimization. So if you implement a technology like machine learning, along with a parallel computing capability, quantum, okay, then it gives the extra mileage, okay, to actually do a lot of optimization in this. And same goes for, in fact, other industries also. You talk about aviation, you talk about logistics, you talk about any other industry. Now, everybody is slowly and gradually, they've started implementing QML wherever it is possible. So that is also another angle, although it is not very popular in India. In India, it has not yet started. In fact, only some POCs, very small pilots or POCs are going on, but it is going to come in a very big way in coming years.
Okay, thank you so much for that detailed answer, Utpal. We are actually going to touch upon quantum a little while later in the podcast, but you raised some splendid points. I really love that point that you raised about analytics, because it is true that there's so much data that is available, and it is not humanly possible for any single person or even a team to go through all of that and come up with all of those inferences. So AI is definitely, ML is definitely a place, is something that can help with that. But that kind of brings just a small follow-up question in my mind. Given the nature of the BFSI sector, I mean, all the data that, you mostly deal with is very sensitive kinds of data. And when it comes to, use cases like you mentioned, where you decide whether somebody is eligible for a certain loan or not, or, whether somebody is, the claims that they are seeking, all of these are things that deal with sensitive use cases, especially sensitive data. So when it comes to deploying machine learning models to determine these things, is it difficult to train these models to accurately predict or, give a result when it comes to give these kind of cases? Because from my understanding, do you have enough clean data? Because you mentioned data lakes also about, your previous organization. Is it a challenge when you're training these models for these particular use cases to be able to, give you like good and, believable or explainable results?
Yes, I think that is the difficult part. The training the model with the right kind of data, because it is not only so when defining a good quality data, okay, is little bit difficult, okay, and it, I think, varies from case to case, but on a high level. So first of all, you require data, okay, the range of data, basically a good range of data, wherein all the possible scenarios has already been occurred. Okay, so if those kind of scenarios has already been occurred in that data, then for the machine learning model to learn from that data, that pattern, it becomes very, very easy. So if you keep a very good quality data, but there is no such scenarios there,
diversity.
Exactly. So that diversity is very, very important, and those instances should present in that data from those instances, so that the machine can learn from those instances. Right? So that is number one. Second thing, now coming to another angle. So although you have got a very good data, but if all the variations are there and everything is there, the diversity is there, but now you need to see also whether there is any bias that lies in that data set or not. Right. So there could be many types of biases, right? It could be a gender bias. It could be a bias on the basis of caste, creed. income, socioeconomic condition. There could be many scenarios, right? So you need to take care of that also, because ultimately you are building a model. But if your model, probably your model is, if it is not performing well, that is also okay, acceptable sometimes, right? But if it is biased, okay, and it is giving some prediction, and you are unknowingly, it is giving some kind of a wrong prediction, okay, and it takes you a lot of time to actually identify, what kind of a wrong prediction it is given, right? So that is another area which is also very, very crucial. Now, preparing this data set, okay, and doing this feature engineering is a very, very important task of a data scientist, and that's where that expertise comes into picture, right? Otherwise, I mean, even somebody who is good at any other programming language, okay, who has got some good idea of IT, he can do a lot of data science work. Okay? But the most important thing, or the challenging area when it comes, when actually you need to do the feature engineering and need to train your model, okay, and also look into these other factors so that your model is not getting biased, okay, and your model is performing well. So this is a very, very critical and crucial area, and also many times it is very time consuming, okay, depending on the amount of data with which you want to train the model, right? You want to train in a cloud kind of a GPU, TPU kind of an environment, or on-premise NVIDIA kind of your high computing kind of a thing. So those things are also involved here.
So in the, I'm sorry, just because you mentioned cloud and on-premise, when it comes to the banking sector, again, because it's a very sensitive data that, you train on or you build your models on, is it more ideal to opt for on-premises GPUs? Because, your data will remain in your premises and you have control over it?
Yeah, so today, if you look at, this is kind of a, you can say, old school kind of a thought. And even we were also thinking in the similar line, probably 7-10 years back, that on-premise, I will have more control. It will be more secure. Okay, nobody can tamper with my data and all. But now, as we are getting more and more mature, so we have seen cloud is much more secure, in fact. Okay, because you have got all kind of security measures already been taken care. All kind of monitoring is happening, because that monitoring is also, continuous monitoring is also very, very important. Okay, and this has been taken care in a world-class way. Okay, so that is very, very important. So probably in your data center, okay, you are doing it in your way, right? But in a cloud environment, all the best practices, okay, global level of best practices are being followed. Okay, all types of patching, all types of security measures have been taken care. So in that case, if you look at cloud is quite secure today. So banks initially had kind of a strategy that they will move their non-critical applications to cloud first, and then they will see, and then they will go for critical applications. But I think the first phase is already over. So many banks has already been taken their non-critical applications into the cloud, and now they're quite comfortable, and they are taking their critical applications also, because they have seen it is quite secure, it is quite fault tolerant, it is quite, there are many, many benefits, right? So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, it doesn't matter today. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for indulging in those two follow-up questions. So we'll move to the second question that we had, which is, in recent times, explainable AI or XAI has gained a lot of traction as it helps organizations interpret the predictions made by machine learning models. So how does this technology find importance in the BFSI industry?
Yes, so explainable AI is a very hot topic today. But it has started long back. In fact, in the data science community, people have been talking about explainable AI for long. But now it is getting a lot of traction in the industry also. Okay, because people now the industry people are also facing these kind of questions, either from their customers or from their stakeholders, kind of thing. So the idea behind explainable AI is basically, okay, traditionally machine learning models used to be a black box, okay, for many people. Probably data scientists, they understand it. Some business stakeholders within the organization, they understand how it is working. But for many other stakeholders and for the end customer, it is completely a black box. And that too, if you implement a technology, something which is like deep neural networks, okay? So machine learning model is okay, the complexity is manageable. But when it goes to deep learning using neural networks, the complexity becomes so high that explaining that how exactly the interior of the model is working, it becomes very, very difficult. But now there are a lot of techniques that has come up, okay, and actually by design, okay, so there are two approaches. By design, you can build your machine learning models, which is explainable, okay, which can give you the full idea that if it is giving a particular prediction, why it is giving it. Okay, what are the parameters it has taken into consideration in what particular way, right?
Right.
Now there is another, already many models has been built, right? So how to explain that? So for that also there are some techniques with which, okay, you can actually explain the output of that particular model. Okay, so it will give you a good indication that while it is predicting, okay, what are the parameters it is taking into consideration and how it is predicting. So that's where the explainable AI comes into picture. Now coming to BFSI or any other sector, now explainable AI has become a very, very important thing, because now the data scientist, the business community, okay, within the bank or any other industry, they are facing these questions from their customers and their stakeholders. Right?
Yeah.
For example, I will give you an example, live example in my case. Okay, so we have been working with some real estate project, right? And we have been doing some kind of a prediction in terms of what is going to be the appreciation of a particular property. Okay, probably after 5 years or after 10 years. So this is called actual prediction, what do you call it, appreciation analytics. So now, while doing that, there are a lot of factors. So here it is not only, I mean, a couple of hundred features are there.
Yeah.
And after basically running a ML model, multiple ML models, in fact, on top of that, we come up with some kind of a prediction. Now, it is very, very important, okay, for the builders and the real estate community to understand how we arrive at that kind of a prediction.
Right.
That kind of a appreciation. So if I am saying that in this particular area, so probably in Mumbai and Andheri West, okay, so the price value of a particular property is going to increase by, say, 6% in another 2 years or 3 years. How do I come up with that kind of percentage, right? What are the factors which are, so there are many factors. So these are the questions now everywhere this AI people, data scientists, they are encountering, and that's why they are implementing ML models which are explainable either by design, or they implement a lot of techniques to explain it to their customers and stakeholders. Hey, look at this. This is actually predicting in this particular way. And this is required. In fact, this brings a lot of transparency, and that is required. This is also nowadays, it is part of customer satisfaction.
Right.
Okay. So, so there are a lot of customer satisfaction factors, but this is also one of the customer satisfaction, because you cannot keep your customer in dark.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for that. It was quite interesting in the manner in which you explained that. On that note, we are going to move on to the third question, which is, given its inherent nature, we know that the banking sector is one of the most highly regulated industries across the globe. And there are innumerable laws and regulations that organizations in this sector must comply with. So how can AI play a role in helping these organizations navigate these, regulatory challenges that come their way?
Yes, so one of the major area of focus for any banks or financial institutions, which, as you rightly said, highly regulated, is basically looking into this compliance and regulatory matters. So now one way is traditionally like more regulatory affairs, you put more experts on top of that. Okay,
Right.
you employ more human workforce into that so that they can take care of the regulated
Yeah.
things, right? But in many times it is not very effective. Okay,
Yeah.
so only just adding human resources, okay,
Mm.
may not solve the problem because probably the problem lies somewhere else, right?
Right.
So that's where a technology like AI comes into picture. Okay, and people have started thinking on that line, and in fact, already a lot of applications and products are available in this area. Although this regulatory, uh, the entire area is actually versatile, right? There are a lot of things there, so you cannot like address everything at a time. Okay, and it cannot be
Right.
one solution which will address
Absolutely.
everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so you will have to target a specific segment, and you have to do that. So now NLP, okay,
Mm.
natural language processing, which is basically for building linguistic models and
Yeah.
for text processing and understanding text. Okay?
Mm.
And so this plays a major role there because ultimately this regulatory things are document extensive, right? So
Right.
most of the
Right.
things lies in the document. Many a
Right.
times, not to be very diplomatic, many a times these are ambiguous also. Okay, so
Right.
you actually don't understand as a common man like
Yeah,
what
because
is
of
going
the
to be the
legal
implication.
jargon and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
True. True. So now humanly identifying all those things becomes a little bit difficult. So now if we employ some NLP techniques, then it actually helps because it can actually go through multiple regulatory documents. It can see the past history and all those things and then come up with the right kind of assessment. Of course, it cannot do everything
Yeah.
of its own, okay? But for a regulator or compliance person who is actually working on that area, it can work as a second pair of eye for that individual, okay?
Right.
So that his life becomes easy and
Right.
it becomes less error prone, right? So now there are other techniques. I mean, some people are working in some bigger projects, okay, to actually solve a huge portion of this area. So what people are saying, in fact, I was also advocating on the same line. So I only suggested this particular thing, and then a lot of people started talking on that. Why can't I get the regulatory parameters for a particular area, probably a very specific area, just by calling an API,
Ah, right.
like I do it from. So if we can build the regulatory things in that way, right? Or if we can translate those documents, okay, into a format wherein I can consume it as an API and can see whether I'm complying with that or not.
Right.
I mean, that is going to be the future. And many people, I started
Yeah.
talking, I don't know who has talked fast, okay? Probably I was talking fast, so I was thinking like I was talking fast. Then I saw like a lot of people are talking on the same line.
Talking about it.
Okay,
Right.
and I think it is going to happen, yes.
That's quite visionary, I must say, because it sounds like such a simple solution to a massive problem, and it's actually a very innovative solution. So thank you so much for shedding light on that, Utpal. And that brings us to the next question, which is the past couple of years has seen a rapid amount of growth of the concept of green finance. And the World Economic Forum defines green finance as any structured financial activity, a product or a service that's been created to ensure a better environmental outcome. This can include an array of loans, debt mechanisms, and investments that are used to encourage the development of green projects or minimize the impact on the climate of more regular projects. So I just gave this definition for the benefit of our audience. I'm sure you're more than aware of what green finance is, given the fact that you've been working very closely with the World Economic Forum for this very same project. So how would you describe your experience working on this? And could you shed some light on AI's role in green finance?
Yes, so AI as a technology, and not only AI, by the way, because there are multiple technologies involved. Okay, so
Right.
if you say the first one is the internet itself. Okay,
Right.
because it has given us the power to reach out to the nook and corner of the world, right?
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
any individual. So that is one. Then mobile technologies, right? So that is also that is very, very handy today. So everyone is
Yeah.
getting a smartphone
Yeah.
or even a feature phone. Okay, so many of those things are available. Then of course big data. Okay,
Right.
then comes AI and all. So these all technologies actually contribute to this sustainability or green finance or SDG, what we call in the World Economic Forum language. So essentially, fintech plays the major role in promoting financial inclusion, okay, which is also part of financial sustainable finance or green finance,
Right.
right?
Right.
So now millions, I think probably billions of people still in this world are unbanked. Okay, so they are not under the purview of the financial system, or they are still not under financial umbrella. Okay, so they don't enjoy any benefits of these financial systems. No bank
Right.
account, no loan, no credit card, no insurance, nothing. Okay,
Right.
the basic things. The reason being, okay, they don't have a credit history, first of all. Okay, because if you want to take a loan, okay, if you want to take insurance, if you want to do anything, you should, what the organizations are looking at, financial institutions are, whether you have a regular income or not. Okay,
Right.
now take for the example of a driver, okay, or a mate, okay, or a plumber. So
Right.
although they are having a decent income today, okay, they are earning well, but unfortunately, all the transactions are cash transactions. So they are getting their salary in cash and all this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's why they have not been able to build a credit history, right? And that is the main hurdle. Because of that, they are not getting any kind of loan, any kind of health insurance, life insurance. Nothing is there in many places. Okay? So this is a problem which is like can be easily solved, right?
Yeah.
Another problem is there definitely. So probably a very remotest corner of the country, people don't have that facility. Okay, they don't have bank account, obviously. So, but in India, largely these things has been, I think, already. I think it has already been solved to a great
Right.
extent by prime ministers that initiative, right? So for account for everybody, and they have been sending money directly to the account, right? But apart from that, to build the transaction history, to build actually to give them that the whole suite of banking products, okay? Because everyone wants to enjoy banking, right? But they are not able. So how can you offer them some kind of a lightweight product, very easy to use, okay, so that they can actually use them for sending money, for paying their bills, or buying something, and all those things, right? So we want to go for a cashless, cardless kind of economy. And this is a big way. And many companies like Paytm, this, that, and all those things, they are playing a major role here. Okay, so fintech, in turn, it helps, including those individuals who are currently unbanked into the financial systems, giving them different kind of benefits, okay, and upgrading their life. So this is a great contribution towards financial inclusion. Okay? And this has been only been possible with this technologies like AI and all those things, because when you want to take a product or a service to a layman, okay, who is from a very rural area. So probably we can take the example of rural India. Okay, normally what we think is, okay, we'll keep a technology, normal technology is fine. No, actually you require a cutting edge technology to help them, right? So that they can do their conversational banking, okay, with just conversation, because they don't know how to type. Okay, they don't know how to click on this button and that button. They can what is my balance? Okay, and it will say, or transfer this money to my mom or to my dad or something like that, right? So with this kind of technology, actually, the life of these rural people, it has already been changed in many areas. Okay, so conversational banking is coming in a very big way. So although in banking, still people are a little bit resistive in terms of giving conversational banking to everyone. Okay, but it is already started, and you will see in a couple of years that I can see conversational banking is going to take over all forms of banking. Okay, so essentially there will be very less net banking, mobile banking, this banking, and all. It will be all voice.
Voice, right.
So in that way, like yes, AI, uh, 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 big data, analytics, mobile technology, they plays a major role in financial inclusion and green finance.
Thank you so much. That was a very, interesting thing for me to learn, because I did not know the many ways in which these technologies are being used for that. And I feel that's the best use of technology, right? When you use it for the greater good of the society, for social inclusion. Thank you for that, Utpal. Moving on to the next question. Given the age of digital explosion that we live in, it's no surprise that every other day that we wake up to the news of some new technology. We have, new technologies coming up, such as quantum computing and Web 3.0, which are witnessing massive amounts of hype. How do you think these new technologies will, affect the fintech industry?
Yeah, fintech. Of course, because as I just said, like quantum is going to revolutionize many of the areas of financial industry. Web 3.0, yes, because when we talk about Web 3.0, this is, you can say, the new avatar of Web 2.0 or new version of Web 2.0, right? So we started with Web 1.0 with only just reading, and now we can do both reading and posting, writing. Okay, so we as an individual also can contribute to social media, to any kind of blog writing, this, that, and all those things. So that facility has been given. Now in Web 3.0, the major shift is basically immersive experience. Okay, so you go and actually you be part of that. Okay, and your presence itself creates content. Okay, so you be there, and then and this entire ecosystem will be powered by, of course, AI. AI is inbuilt into Web 3, right? And of course, blockchain is going to be the backbone, because again, it is coming from a concept called decentralization. Right? That is required, right? Exactly, and that is required in that kind of environment, because it's a community-based environment. Okay, and you require that transparency when it is kind of a community and no central authority is controlling everything. So that's where a technology like blockchain is very, very important whenever we're doing any kind of transaction. It could be anything. NFTs has come into picture, okay, which is also very getting a lot of hype and a lot of good things. In fact, personally, I like that, okay, because you can monetize anything and everything digitally, right? So that is a good part. And you and me, as a consumer, okay, and also we are the creator of the content, right? We are creating content on the social media, on the web, but till now we are not getting benefited in that way, right? Until and unless we are a professional, like professional photographer, professional painter, or kind of thing. But now this concept of NFT will give an opportunity to anyone to create their digital content and can monetize that. So this is, and banking and finance sector, coming to your question, is not going to be untouched by this. Okay, when everyone will be moving to with already concerts are happening there. Okay, already the brands are actually launching their products in metaverse today. Big events are already happening there. Okay, gaming world is already been there for long. So banking and finance is not going to be untouched. They will also have to take their products and services there. Okay, so you very soon, probably in a couple of years, you will see all the bank virtual branches are there in metaverse, and you are doing transactions there. Your avatar is doing transactions there. Yes, absolutely.
I was actually thinking of that only. When you said immersive experience, I was visualizing in my head a virtual, something like a bank in the metaverse, where we don't have to physically visit the banks, but we can just virtually visit the banks and get all of our transactions done. That's what I had in my head. So hopefully maybe sometime soon in the near future, we'll get to see that. Thank you for that, Utpal. And that brings us to the final question for our conversation today, which is, how do you see the BFSI and fintech sector growing in the next few years? What excites you most about the contribution of AI and ML in the future of the sector?
Yes. So how the future is going to get, getting shaped. Predicting that is very, very difficult. Okay, even for an expert. Okay, so you ask any expert, because I think things are coming in such a great speed that nobody can actually predict that this is going to happen. But
Right.
I think as the industry people, okay, the BFSI sector, or for that matter any sector, they should be open for accepting this kind of changes, right? Because these are changes. Okay, so it is not only technology change, it is also a cultural change. Okay, it is also a change on your how you accept things, right? So we should be open to this change, because ultimately we cannot stop it, right? And I can give you an example like crypto and all those things. So many countries are banning it, tried to ban it, but ultimately adoption has not decreased, but it has increased, right? And probably it will definitely take some kind of a form. But having said that, while we should be open for accepting this kind of things, because already we are living in a a world of globalization, right? We cannot be just be at one side, okay, not accepting anything. But at the same time, we should also see, and I think India is very good at it. Okay, so the wait and watch kind of a policy, which we have, okay, everywhere in our industry, in our government, everywhere. This is the best thing, because many times some of the things are overhyped. Okay, and there are a lot of there are a lot of challenges also coming with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that may actually jeopardize many of the things. Okay, the existing and including our economy, right? Because if you are building a parallel world, if you are building a parallel economy, people are doing everything there, and you also have to think of, and that to a global, right? So you don't have a border, or you don't have any kind of control. Okay, so it's complete global. Anybody can come. So you need to think of other things also, how it is going to impact your traditional economy. Okay, because we don't know, right? So I think technology-wise, yes, these are great technologies. Blockchain, great technologies. Not only for, people have in this concept like blockchain is only for crypto. No, blockchain can be implemented in many, many places. And now banks are implementing blockchain, and the adoption of blockchain is going to go like anything in coming years. Similarly, Web 3.0 is a great technology, but how we adopt it, okay, it's very, very important. Whether we want a completely decentralized kind of a community kind of ecosystem everywhere, or we want some kind of a community, but again, being regulated by somebody. Regulated by someone. But this community is like only driven by community guidelines, right? So these are not regulations. You can follow it, you may not follow it. So tomorrow, if you are not following, the community may throw you out. No, but that's not the solution, right? So in many areas, you should have a control. Because if you don't have a control, then probably the damage has already been happened. Okay, and then you are taking an action. That is very, very important. So I am a fan of technology. I accept all that, and I know the nitty-gritties of this technology. So technology-wise, there is no problem. But the problem is how you are going to adapt it.
Implementation.
You should implementation in a very, very mature way, considering the fact that we are in a country, okay, where our economy is a traditional kind of economy, and we're doing pretty well. Okay, so we are risk-free economy, right? It's unlike many other countries. Okay, when something goes globally down, okay, the economy is also down. We are not affected by that because of the traditional nature of our economy, right? So that is also a good point, right? So although we are not growing in that way, okay, probably if we are 100% globalized, then probably we'll be growing in that faster way. But at the same time, that balance is very, very important, right? So I'm not saying that this is bad or this is good kind of thing. What I'm trying to say is basically this balance is very, very important. And if you keep the balance, we can actually harness the power of this technologies everywhere, not only in the banking system, but all other sectors, because technologies are brilliant and we've got brilliant skills available in our country. And we can actually convert a normal, IT professional into a data scientist or a blockchain developer or a game developer, because ultimately this Web 3.0 and all those things are gaming. Okay, Unity, Unreal, and all those things. It is very, very easy in India. Okay, we have got a lot of programs, a lot of educational institutions are already giving this kind of courses. Okay, our resources, our young generation, our millennial generation is so enthusiastic in this. They can learn very, very quickly, adapt. We have got the largest developer community of the world in India, right? So we can actually harness the power of these technologies with a little bit of control and in a very thoughtful kind of way.
Right. Thank you so much for that wonderfully nuanced take, Utpal. I love the manner in which you put it, how it all depends upon how you use it and make it your own. So that was a wonderful answer. And that brings us to the end of today's discussion. Thank you very much. Those are some very interesting and insightful answers that you gave us. I'm sure our audience is going to find great value in the points that you raised. And we hope to probably do this sometime again. Thank you very much once again, Utpal.
Thank you, Priyanka. It was great talking to you. And yes, looking forward for more such sessions.
Absolutely.
Yes, it was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning into this conversation. We'll soon be back with another episode. And until then, you can reach us at insights@manageengine.com.